Quick disclaimer for YouTube, I do have Tourette's, so any swearing or sudden movements, please excuse and do not take down the video. Thank you very much. Good morning guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Jim.
My name's Lou, and we are Fields and Flocks.
Over the last 3 years since I last put out a video, I've continued on my recovery, and me and my wife Louisa, we've moved to a small holding in Wales to try and get self-sufficient and continuing to aid me on my journey towards recovery and self-sufficiency. I hope you enjoy following our journey as much as we're enjoying being on the journey. Before we show you what we've got up to, we wanted to make a video about our story and how did we end up where we speak. How did we end up where we are?
So we met at 11, were we?
Yeah, at school.
We were in English class together.
That was at, I think that was at 13, 14 perhaps.
Oh, year 9 that was.
Year 9.
Yeah.
So for anyone from England, year 9 is the third year of secondary school, and I don't know what you call it over the pond in America, but freshman maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we went to school together. We got together when we were 18.
18 we started.
Yeah, 18 years old. We went travelling at 21.
Yeah.
I think it was. Jim's got some family in Australia, so we had the luxury of having family to stay with. So we did everywhere, more or less, but the West, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we spent some time in Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia, which was amazing.
Amazing.
So after we went travelling, we moved in with your mum.
Yep.
For a year. Saved a little bit of money, finally managed to get a house when I was, 6 months pregnant with Theo?
Yeah, our first child, Theo.
Yeah. All happens at once.
Yeah, it all happened
usual.
at once. We moved house. We got our first ever house, it was. And yeah, not long after Theo was born.
Hello, monkey.
Theo was born when he was about 8 months old. I actually had a terrible car crash, which left me with multiple neurological conditions, and I think it's fair to say changed our life forever.
Yeah, definitely. And it was in the recovery for you at home that you thought about getting chickens, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was 2020, and I was really starting to be a bit more aware of my health and perhaps the lack of care I took for my health since being disabled. There was a long time where I didn't really know what way was up, what way was down, what I was doing. There was a long journey of recovery, but around about 2020, I was ready to start living a bit more. And at this point, I found medical cannabis, which there are 2 videos on the channel, and they are both about they are both examples of what medical cannabis does to my conditions, because actually I have adult onset Tourette's, and so I'm very ticky, especially in stressful situations. But if I use the medical cannabis, my tics are as they are as you're watching them right now, so more or less under control. But without them, I've got very extreme Tourette's. I can't really walk or talk without my tics severely interfering. And the 2 videos on the channel were back in the day when I wanted to highlight, because I was amazed myself at how cannabis could help my conditions, and I feel like I made those videos to try and highlight that. So those videos are on the channel, but it was around then that we got chickens. We completely transformed the garden.
Yeah, my dad helped us build our first coop, how much space? We looked it up, didn't we? And it said about how much space you need per chicken.
And I think we'd read that per chicken, for a free-range chicken, they needed 1 metre space. So we thought that meant in a coop. So we built this whopper of a coop for like 4 chickens,
It was
thinking
like
that was what they.
8 foot by 6 foot. This absolute whopper in this. You know, not a small. It wasn't a small garden, but it was a massive portion of the garden it took up.
Yeah.
And then it was. We got what, 6 chickens? Was it?
At first, was it 6?
Or was it 4?
4. No, Bertha Chow, Gladys Gertrude, Chicoletta, and Bullseye.
Bullseye.
So 6.
Yes, we put these 6 chickens in this coop and very, very quickly learned that we did not need a coop that big.
And it was an absolute nightmare to clean. It was really difficult to clean, and it was a baptism of fire. And we learned a lot about the chickens, but it was a baptism of fire on what not to do, which was kind of good.
Yeah, so we got the chickens, and then was it the chicks we got next?
No, it was we done up the whole garden. We done more plants. We got the fruit beds. We done the flower bed. So we tried to make the garden a bit more wild. We also got an allotment at this time. So we had an allotment. We had the garden. We had the chickens, and we knew that this was kind of the life that we wanted to live. We knew that I found a peace doing it.
We'd had the allotment for a long time. We were in the house for 5 years, and we had the allotment. We got it really quickly, didn't we? Yeah. My dad helped out a lot on it. So we always had an allotment.
Especially after my accident, your dad more or less took it on for himself.
Yeah.
We couldn't get down there.
We could do a lot down there.
But it was around this time when I got the chickens that we started going down there ourselves a bit more. It was some of the first places I'd been out, really.
And it was quiet. There wasn't too much going on, was there?
Yeah, it was nice. It was good, but it made us know that this is what we wanted to do. So there we were, we were doing the allotment, we were doing our garden, we were rearing chickens, and I tell you what, we knew that this is something we wanted to do, but we didn't know how on earth we would achieve it.
No. And my mum and dad had always sort of dreamt and spoke about, wouldn't it be nice to have a little bit of land, grow as much food as possible? And it was always a bit of a dream, wasn't it? We used to speak about it once in a while and be like, wouldn't it be lovely? But we never actually thought of it as a reality. And then all of a sudden you were like, well, if we're going to do it, now is the time.
We had a lot of financial pressures. When my accident meant that I couldn't work conventionally anymore because I had a lot of seizures. I got to smoke a lot of cannabis or vape a lot of cannabis. And it's still got a stigma around it, so it's more complicated. And I still have my bad days where I have seizures. I'm not too proud to admit, like I wet myself sometimes. It can be, it can be brutal, but we manage it to the best we can. But at that point, we were struggling to pay our mortgage. There was pressures getting on us. I'm sure many of you have got mortgages know that back then they went through the roof. We'd got a ridiculously good deal when we first got a mortgage. We'd got it renewed at an even better deal, and we hadn't realised how lucky we were. And then all of a sudden they hit us with this whopping, I think it's about £500 a month increase, and we just couldn't afford it. So we were having to seriously look at selling our house.
Yeah. And we had our second child, Lydia, in 2020.
So who just had their bum changed?
So we had the 2 kids. Obviously, you needed a lot of care
back
at the
then,
time.
Loads of care.
So we sort of thought, well, actually, if we put it to my parents, didn't we, that if we move in together, we can help the financial pressures, live more the way we all want to, but also they can be on hand. If I ever need help with the kids or with Jim, you've got the support there to help. So we put that idea to them, didn't we? And then in another twist, Lou's aunt was staying with her parents at the time, and she thought, actually, you know what? We all discussed it, and we decided that all 3 of us, households, would sell up and move to somewhere, and we didn't know whereabouts we wanted to move. It was the right house that was most important. House, the right amount of land, so that we could manage without being too much land, but enough that we could do what we want to do. The hunt began, didn't it?
Yeah, and first stop, we viewed a house Lou and her pet. I couldn't travel at this time. I was still in quite a state, and Lou's.
The pressure was on me and my dad to find
and
view and confirm if it was the right house.
And it was the first trip was to the Lake District in England, and we went up and we saw a property and it weren't right, and I wanted it so badly to be right because I was so desperate for this to happen that I actually had quite a bad relapse around that time because the stress had just got too much to me. everything I needed was within grasp, but there was no concrete to get there. Speak, as well as the pressures of being disabled, the pressures of a second child. And our second child, when she was born, she was premature, so she only weighed 5 pounds. And I would often go into seizures when she'd make a strange noise.
She didn't move much.
She didn't move,
and breathing. She played on your disabilities a lot, didn't she? Like just being so small and so delicate. I
Yeah, it really. So I had a re-verge of my symptoms, and it was an all-round very stressful time. But then we found the property that I'd looked at and dreamt of. I saw the picture and oh, that would be a nice pond. And I put the picture up of what we saw on the internet. And I saw that pond and I thought, oh yeah, I could have some of that. But then Lou's mum came across the house as well. And she thought, oh, this could be a good one to got. And so then you and your dad decided to come up.
Well, we had actually, the gentleman we bought it off, he agreed to do like a WhatsApp viewing. So we had a really good look around the house via WhatsApp. He showed us around. So we kind of did to see if it was worth travelling all that way, because it's a good 6-hour journey with a stop in between. So he said, look, let's do a WhatsApp viewing. He was really kind, really helpful, was very thorough. And then, after that, we thought, we'll go have a look. So me and Dad came up in, was it February?
Must have been about
February. It was
February,
a beautiful early spring day. The type of weather they say not to view houses on, because it was just glorious and it was calm and it was sunny, and they say do not view a house in that day, and we'd never experienced the Welsh downpours that we are now very much used to. But yeah, we came. And it was lovely because they had kind of started the setup of a small holding. There was 2 greenhouses, the potting shed, there was 1 large bed. They had a mini orchard, didn't they, have about 8 trees. And it was kind of already, it had started the setup of what we wanted to do, and we knew we could just expand on from what was already there. And so, it was ideal, wasn't it?
I mean, it was perfect. It was beyond ideal.
We had a massive list of requirements, and it met most of them.
Because there was the 3 families, and also Lou's sister's been disabled since childhood, bedbound more or less, and so
there was a lot of requirements.
There was a lot of requirements, and it was a very complicated, difficult move. And so we found the house. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It ticked every boxes. So we put an offer in. Somebody else who was ready to put an offer in, and we hadn't sold any of that. We'd sold 1 of the 3 houses at this point. Lou's aunt had sold her house, and she would live in Essex with Lou's parents, waiting for the move. And but we hadn't sold our house or your parents' house. No. And the people who lived there before, they felt something about us or our situation, and they actually turned down the same offer from somebody else who was ready to move, and took a gamble on us. But luckily it paid off. Our house sold in a couple of weeks. Your parents' house sold in a couple of weeks. The market was good.
It was fast, and, so that was good.
But then in came the problems. And that was because I was no longer working, and in essence we didn't have many options with a new mortgage, porting it over to the property. They actually rejected our mortgage application after our broker telling us that it would all go through fine.
So naturally, anyone who's moved will know the stresses of moving. Add in, 3 families moving from 3 houses into 1. You've got a disabled husband. You've got 2 young kids. It was very stressful, to say the least. Worth it now, looking back on it. But it was about a year, because we thought, and everyone wanted to move in the summer holidays.
It just kept getting delayed, and
then it was delayed.
We did get the mortgage in the end, but it went through an appeal, and then I think, because all this stuff nowadays is so rigid, it's black and white. If you don't meet this, you're cancelled. But then when it went to appeal, it went before an actual person who then looked at the situation was, well, if they can afford the mortgage now, they're going to be able to afford it if they're living with 2 other families. And it all went through, luckily. And in October of 2022, we finally left England and made the move to Wales. And we hope that next week you join us and we'll show you what we've done over the first year. And welcome to the channel. If you've liked the video, like and subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. We're going to be posting regular content. We love watching the content on YouTube.
We watch a lot of other people's, and as we've because we've been learning, we've never really done it before, so we're learning.
We're YouTube learners.
Yeah,
we watch a lot. And so we thought we'd do the video for that reason, and as well as we've got a lot of friends who ask us what we're up to, and we'd like to let them see what's going on, what's on in our world, and
maybe learn something from us. Where we've lived and learned, maybe you can learn something from us. And there's a lot we want to do this year. We're trying to kind of get to the point with self-sufficiency where we can.
We'll save that. We're going to save this for. We're going to save this for next week's episode, where we are going to talk about previous projects, and then we got another. We're going to do it all in one video, but it would be way too long. And then we got a third video in the pipeline of projects that we've done we're starting this year, and where we're going to go on. So thanks for joining us. And we will see you in the next one. Good morning, guys. It's Jim.
It's Lou.
And we are
Fields and Flock.
Flocks and Fields. Good morning, guys.
My name's Jim.
Your name's not Jim. My name's Jim.
You're going to say that, yeah.
We're doing it. It's live. It's filming.
Oh, is it filming?
Yeah. That's where I'm trying to go. Right, so we've just left Essex for the last time, and we are on our way to Pembroke. Absolutely stinks of shit. The chickens, and we got the dog. The kids are with the parents, and we are moving to Wales.